Hi, I'm Sarah Hatch from Little Hatchlings Art Lessons, and I wrote another book. You might have seen my other videos where I read to you books 1 and 2, and that was with the dinosaurs in the redwoods, and the second one was with unicorns in the Smoky Mountains. This one has some dinosaurs in it and spaceships, and they're in Arches National Park in Moab, Utah. So I'm going to read this book to you today. Page 1.
Howdy fellow adventurers, welcome to Adventure Central Radio. It's Leo here reporting about our latest hike in an incredible red rock desert called Arches. My parents were telling us how wind and water formed the rock formations over time. It was pretty interesting. They said it's called erosion. Our adventure really began when I was doing a bit of climbing and jumping off a red rock boulder. I did a really sweet jump, spinning in the air before landing light as a feather like a stealthy ninja. Hazel exclaimed, "Wow, that was cool. You know, it almost seems like the gravity is different here." She was onto something. Looking around, I started to suspect we had somehow been transported to an alien planet. I began wondering what space creatures could be hiding in this dry desert. I turned to Hazel and said, "I don't see any signs of aliens, but stay alert. You never know what could be hiding behind one of those rock formations." Hazel replied, "Guess what? These rock piles are called cairns. Hikers stack the rocks to help mark the hiking path." "Let's just hope the aliens didn't stack them to lead us off the path and straight into their evil hideout," I said. We continued hiking, keeping an eye out for aliens along the way. "Ugh, I'm hot," Hazel exclaimed, wiping sweat from her face. "Yeah, it sure would be a lot easier to see all the arches if we could fly," I replied. Just then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a little tail slide out of view behind a bush. I chased after it and discovered it was a baby velociraptor. I pulled some beef jerky out of my pocket and offered it to him. He crept forward and I threw my jerky to him. I pulled out another piece and offered it to the cute little dinosaur. This time he got close enough that he let me pet his feathery head. From down below I heard Hazel call out, "Leo, you gotta see this!" I gently picked up my new little friend and turned to look. Hazel was pulling back some branches, revealing 2 small spaceships. "Do you know what this means?" Hazel asked. Amazed at our discovery, I replied, "Yeah, it means we can fly these spaceships to see the arches." I climbed down and made my way through the branches to join Hazel. "Do you really think they work?" I asked. "Oh yeah, for sure. Do you want to have a little race?" Hazel asked. "You bet I do," I exclaimed. We tinkered around for a minute, getting to know the alien technology. The velociraptor stayed close by my side, pressing a few buttons to help me figure out the ship. I always knew dinosaurs were smart. The ship's control panel even let us choose which color lights we wanted. I chose green. Hazel chose hot pink. We started the engines and lifted up into the sky. The radio in my helmet crackled and I heard Hazel's voice come through. "Leo, can you hear me?" "Loud and clear," I replied. "But don't call me by my real name. We need to use call signs." "What's a call sign?" Hazel asked. "They're like secret pilot names. My call sign will be Space Raptor. What about you?" I asked. "Mine is Fairy Dust." "All right, Fairy Dust, are you ready to race through these arches?" I asked. Hazel laughed. "As long as you're prepared to eat my fairy dust." She zoomed ahead, the fire from her jet engines blazing behind her. I sped up and the race was on. "How about we make this a bit more interesting? Extra points if you can go through the arch," I said. "Sounds fun, but be careful. Those things are delicate." We expertly steered through the arch and continued on our way in search of more. I was determined to take the lead. As I sped toward the arch, I tried to distract her. "Wow, look at that landscape. You should totally get a picture of that one." She huffed. "I don't have a camera." Hazel had slowed down a bit as I sped up, so I was able to masterfully dive through the arch and take the lead. Maybe I was going too fast because the next thing I knew, I was dodging a boulder. But it wasn't just any boulder. It was attached to a tail of a dinosaur. "Ah, look out for that Ankylosaurus," I warned Hazel. She exclaimed, "Whoa, thanks for the heads up." I replied, "Yeah, I didn't even see it. Its tail looked like a rock formation to me." I couldn't believe we had seen another dinosaur. Who knew there were dinosaurs on alien planets too? This was crazy. I must have been lost in thought because Hazel had pulled ahead. Through the radio I heard her say, "Look, it's a double arch." She went through the upper arch and then she exclaimed, "Watch out! There's a hiker in that other arch." Thanks to her warning, I was able to get a better look. Shocked at what I had just seen, I replied, Fairy Dust, that isn't a hiker. It's a Troodon." The Troodon was talking into some type of radio, and he did not look happy. My pet velociraptor seemed nervous, and then it dawned on me. Maybe these ships were built by the Troodons. They're smart enough to do it. "Oh man, Fairy Dust, I think we accidentally stole that Troodon's ship," I exclaimed. Suddenly, my screen started beeping. I think my radar is picking up another ship. I think he called someone on his radio and they're after us." My mind was whirling, trying to figure out how we were going to be able to hide from these Troodons from outer space. Then I had a brilliant idea. "See those fins back there, Fairy Dust? Maybe if we dive down between them and fly our ships through the fins, we can lose them." We used our best piloting skills, weaving through the fins and flipping to our sides when it got too tight so we wouldn't crash into any rocks. After a while, I checked my radar and said, "I think we lost them." We exited the fins and landed the ships. As we climbed out, Hazel said, "We better get out of here before they catch us." We climbed out of the ships and hid in a narrow slot between two big red rocks. "I think we lost them," I whispered to Hazel. I turned around and she was gone. I slowly crept forward, tiptoeing out of the rocks. "Hazel, where'd you go?" I whispered. I heard deep, heavy breathing coming up from behind me, like through a heavy mask. Then a deep voice said, "Leo, I am your father." I turned and saw out of the corner of my eye a dark, hulking form. I yelled out, "No!" I heard my dad start to chuckle. Hazel started giggling too and said, "Leo, it's just Daddy." My dad gave me a hug and, still laughing, said, "Sorry if I scared you, buddy. Mom has some sandwiches ready for us. Let's go eat." I looked around to find my pet velociraptor to show my dad, but he was nowhere to be seen. Then my tummy rumbled really loud. "You must be hungry. Didn't you have some beef jerky for the trail?" Dad asked. I smiled and said, "I gave my jerky to a friend we met along the way."
All right, that's the end. I hope you enjoyed my book, and if you want a copy of your own, you can just order one on Amazon. They're only $10 for the paperback and about 18 or 20 on Amazon for the hardback books. So go ahead and check that out. The link will be in the description, and I hope you guys have a fun time adventuring and reading books. See ya!